We're starting with the bottom. We're starting with the bottom.
Oh, you starting with
Yeah. You're our second guest, Joe. So yeah, we're
We're
starting.
out of ideas.
well, I can talk. We know that. Any comic can talk.
Good.
Writer, blogger, whatever you want to be now. I'm blogging more than anything now. So
Oh, okay. Well, Joe, and I know you're a comedian. Did we meet, and you live in Birmingham? Did we meet at the Star Dome or the Birmingham Comedy Club, or where did we meet?
We met at the Birmingham Comedy Club.
Oh, the old Birmingham.
And that's when you were in the Toyota.
Yes.
That had 8 million miles on it or something.
You still got that, don't you?
Yeah, he probably wishes he did.
I totaled it.
Oh.
Yeah. But I mean, they had all their. I remember, and I'll tell you what I remember about that, Frank. I had just started writing jokes for Leno when he was doing the Monday night show only for Carson.
Yeah.
And I was feeling really good because I was doing like 8 to 10 jokes a week. And I met you, and you were schlepping jokes for Leno, and you were doing about 25 jokes a week. And that changed my life. I went, I can't have that. I can't do 8 jokes when there's somebody I know doing 25. So it ramped me up. And that, I'm telling you the dead honest truth. That is one thing I certainly remember from that. So
yeah, as you mentioned it, I now recall that. How many jokes sending in? I'm doing about 5 a day, 25 a week. What?
Yeah, exactly. Nothing else. We're competitive.
You getting that on? Were you getting that on, Frank, or were you just sending? That's what you're sending in.
No, just sending it in. I was getting maybe 1 or 2 a week. When I got it up to 2 dozen a day, I was getting 1 or 2 a week.
Nice.
Yeah, and I would still do. I would. In the end, I would average. I think 2 a week or 3 was a number I kind of shot for with him, and. That was a fun thing. It kind of got me. You remember the first time you met him? Where did you meet Leno the first time?
In person?
Yeah. Was it me and you? Were we showcasing out in L.A.?
Yeah, Hermosa Beach Comedy Magic Club.
That's where I met him. Yep.
Yeah, that's where I met him. I met he and Gary Shandling.
Nice.
And well, the funny thing is that the story behind it is Leno and I've kind of always hit it off. He's been really good to me. My mother was, died in a car wreck and had a bunch of surgery. He was calling every week.
Wow.
He's been really decent to me. We kind of hit it off, but I really just kind of walked in there thinking he's just doing what I do, just on a higher level. And he was talking to Shandling, and they walked me in, and it was just he and Shandling. And Shandling's show had just been canceled about a week or 2, and it was on Sunday night. And so I can't believe I did this. I walked in there and goes, oh yeah, Joe, hey Gary, this is Joe. He's one of my independent facts writers. I said, so hey Gary, so you're here because you don't have anything to do on Sunday night now? Right out of my mouth. Leno fell apart. And that's the way my adventure with I just thought
Yeah.
So yeah. Gary. Yeah.
I worked there a lot. They did the 25 comics every night in July for their birthday.
Yeah.
We got to work with all those guys back there and Leno and but Shandling and all the big names and then me.
Yeah, that's the way I felt.
Yeah.
That's the way. But he made you feel. He's a decent guy.
Guy. I was in the hospital for my first open heart surgery. I had a valve job, my first, and when I got in the regular room and was able to pick up my messages, Leno would call, "Hey,
Wow.
heard you had your heart worked on. Good thing you didn't have it done in L.A. They take it out and leave it out. Take a couple of weeks off." And so as soon as a comic showed up in my room, of course, I'd dial my answering service and go, "Hey, listen, I got a message from somebody." And oh, yeah, really? Oh, my God, that's Jay Leno.
You know, I'm the comic that always had the day job. It just never felt right to me. And I was in my office one day, and he called for something, and we still had a receptionist up front, and there's 100 people in this office, and he called for something, and I was on the phone, and then over the loudspeaker, Jay Leno is waiting for you to talk to him. That's Jay Leno. That's probably why I never progressed to partner in that firm. But anyway, yeah,
that's a great story.
He's just a guy. He's just a guy who kind of managed to be. I don't know if he worked hard and was in the right place at the right time. So.
Well, by the way, folks, we're talking to Joe Hobby. I don't think this is his name at the beginning. Is that your real name? And I don't know Joe. This is a Frank friend. So I'm looking at Joe myself.
Yeah. No, real name. I don't think I could come up with anyone like that. I would change it if I could. I guess.
I was trying to find a better last name that people could spell when I started, and I tried all my friends' last names, and nothing really. Finally, I said, I'll just go with it, but no one's ever going to be able to spell it.
Well, and I was going to change mine to something funny, like Kelly Green or something. And I told my mother that, and she said, if I come to the comedy club and there's another name on the marquee, not yours, I'm going to write you out of my will. Okay.
Well, there you go. Well, I like the short, easy King-O.
Every best, yeah.
But yeah, I got hobby. That was the worst. Is comedy your hobby?
Oh,
the last time I haven't heard that in the last 20 minutes. Gee, all right. I just finally got old after years and years. Or this is your hobby, huh? Mr. Hobby's in the lobby. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Well, Jan's written a couple of books, Joe, and I believe you have written at least one. Sort of you might be a redneck kind of a.
It was a knockoff book years ago, and there were tens of hundreds of copies sold, and but this what I'm doing now is really, in a way, it's a lot more enjoyable. When I did stand up, it was like I didn't do stories. There's the story. I wish I was a storytelling comic, but I'm kind of a David Brenner kind of comic.
Yeah.
But I have stories, and so I started thinking about 6 months ago as I morph into business world retirement back into this. I said, well, a lot of these stories need to be written. And I have 2 grandchildren now, and I want them to have it. So when I'm on the wrong side of the dirt, they'll still have something to go, oh, this is the things that Granddaddy did. And so I've been writing them at a pretty good clip. I've kind of backed off here in the last few weeks, and but I've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed these stories. There's many that I can't write, but there are quite a few that I have written that I've liked. And
what's the name of your book? What's the name of your book?
The book. Forget the book. The book is like 100 years old.
Yeah.
What's the name of your blog? Tell us your blog.
The blog, My Life as a Hobby at Blogspot. There you go.
Came in helpful.
Yeah,
come on.
Use the lame joke. I guess it came in handy at Blogspot, but I've enjoyed writing the stories, and I don't know what to do with them, but what I want to do with them is make sure that it's kind of a legacy after I'm gone. And I guess at 66, you start thinking about that kind of thing. Unbelievably. But so
I started at 39, Joe.
Do I?
I started thinking about legacies at 39. My first.
Well, you should have. And you remember when we went to LA together, and I remember you opened up this case and you had all of this food, and it wasn't human food. It was.
No, it's not.
No, it's all of this like aardvark liver extract and whatever, and but. I mean, it's obviously worked for you. I mean, goodness gracious.
First time I met Frank, was there was a hotel in Asheville, North Carolina, Frank, and we had dinner. And I said, I know you're vegan. Are you going to throw blood at me if I order a hamburger here? I said, is it like health, or is it like you hate people like me eating a hamburger? And he said, no, it's health.
Yeah, we were opening for John Boy and Billy's.
That was that nuts, crazy, drunk ass 1,500 people big. And I was kind of showcasing for you to see if you could help me out with some corporate work. And I remember at dinner, I said, hey, Frank, do you look at the crowd? I mean, they're pretty drunk, good old boys. I said, it's not really a corporate crowd. I said, I might have to do a few jokes that, I don't have a lot of dicey jokes, but I said, I might have to do something to get through this thing. And I remember without missing a beat, you looked at me and said, me too. I said, I promise I won't do them in corporate, but please. And that guy was right. The guy did not like that a woman comic there. Brett Leake had gotten me the shot, and he was so unhappy. Not Billy, not the DJs. It was the guy who actually booked us into it. And I'm about to walk on stage, 1,500 drunk people, and he leans over to me as they're calling my name and said, "Women never do well at this event." And trying to sabotage. I walked out and I rocked. It just exploded, and the whole time thinking, you SOB, trying to ruin this thing for me. And it was great. The night turned out to be phenomenal, and Frank had a great set, of course. And I remember Frank going to the other comic, me and the other comic going, and there was a variety show type of thing. It wasn't just comics. So they had dancing girls, they had, all this crap in between us. And so it was a long night, and Frank was going to close it. And he's like, comics, do not go overtime. You know how bad this gets when if it goes into midnight. And I was like, hey, I'll do my time. And the other comic, Flip Schultz, was like, yeah, I'll do mine. And it worked out great. But that guy was a kind of an interesting guy. But I remember the dinner with Frank and getting to meet Frank. So.
What a jerk. I mean,
I totally trying to sabotage. And I went up to him later to say, hey, I'd love to get some corporate work. And he just said, I'll call you if I need you. And he walked away. I'm like, all right, that's fine.
Boy, hope he's
but
still
right as I'm walking on. Yeah, right as I'm walking on. Women never do well at this event.
Joe, do you know Reno Collier? Yeah, okay. So
that's how we really met over the phone earlier.
Yeah, Jen and I met thanks to Reno Collier. You want to tell the story, Jen, about going into auditions?
Yeah, I just left my day job a year earlier. I was doing an audition down at, what was that club in South Carolina?
Comedy House.
And to get feature work, you know how audition works. So, MC goes out, does 10, 15, then brings me out for like 5-minute guest set, and then the other acts. Well, I'm in the green room. Reno Collier is the MC, and I'm in the green room, and the two other comics are about to kill each other. They're fighting over stolen hack jokes, I mean, who stole whose? But I was like, I wanted to turn to them and say, hey, both of them guys, those are all, BS jokes anyway. But I'm standing by the stage because I'm about to get out of the way of these guys punching each other out. And I hear the MC go out and do 3 car jokes and bring me out to a cold crowd. So I went out and ended up, having a hard set because I'm warming the crowd up for him.
Of course.
So I finish that and, get off stage and like, all right, whatever. And of course the manager's like, hey, you're going to have to MC for a week for me so I can see you, because that wasn't really great. And I said, I know. So fast forward 6 months later, I'm going to MC for a week in this club. And I get to the club and I'm really late. So I don't meet the other acts. I go on, do my MC thing, whatever, get off stage, watch the other acts. The next night I'm sitting at the bar with the feature act. And I said, guys, we're talking about people that screw you over in the business. I said, this ass, he screwed me over. He brought me up after 3 car jokes. And as I'm saying it, I realized it's this guy. It's you. You did that. It was Reno. And you did that to me. And I just cussed him out and I went off and I said, this is why I'm emceeing. And he, to his credit, great guy. He picked up the phone that minute and he got me an audition at the Punchline in Atlanta, his home club. He called Joey, his agent, and said, you want to do some corporate and college work? He called Frank out of the blue and said, Frank, I messed up with this girl. You want to take it from there? Frank gets his panic call.
Yeah, decent guy. We got, there's a few here from Birmingham.
Frank
Roy
got
Wood.
this call out of the blue with this guy going, "You got to help me out with this girl." And it turns out it's me. And Frank and I chatted, and it was great. We talked, and down the road, Frank ended up helping me get the gig. But I ran into Reno. We became friends, and it was funny. And I'm at the Improv in LA years later, and we were walking out, and after a few drinks, he's like, "Man, I made you a lot of money by screwing you over at that gig." I said, "You did, but thank you. You shouldn't have done that, but thank you."
Well,
so yeah, he's a great guy.
And helped Jan get into the corporate market.
Yep.
And then when the recession hit, the last one, I said to her, "I think I'm gonna have to go back selling insurance, or maybe just a really slow summer. I'm gonna have to go back selling insurance." And she goes, "No, the hell you're not. My cruise agent is having a showcase this coming Friday. So I know somebody just dropped out. If you'll pay your way back there and put yourself up, I bet she'll have you on in the showcase." And so I got the spot. I flew back there. I was 15th out of 15 acts, and every last one of them except 2 went over. I went on at 4 hours, 17 minutes.
Ugh.
And I was pissed. And
How you do?
I got a standing ovation after 4 hours because I was so mad. And that cruise work,
quite comic. Mm-hmm.
That cruise work saved us during the years immediately following the recession. That was about all the income we had after filing the bankruptcy. So Reno introduces Jan to me. I introduced Jan to corporate work. Jan introduces me to cruise work. So,
And to pay it forward, one last quick story. A couple of years later, Frank is emceeing, or maybe the next year, emceeing that same cruise showcase.
Yep.
And I'm on it, all right, because they wanted me to get on it just so the agent could see me some more. And Frank does this speech to all the acts, all the magicians and mentalists and comedians, said, "You don't go over by 1 second. I'm cutting the mic. And it was like putting the hammer down. And I went up to him and said, "Frank," I said, "You know my bit, man, my closing bit. Please don't cut the mic off on me. I promise I'll be as close as I can to it." Frank looks at me and he goes, "Jan, Wendy would cut off my balls if I cut that mic on you." Because I'm not even turning on the timer for you. You do whatever the hell you want.
Well,
and that was the nicest compliment. And I did my time, but I might have been over by a second or two. But Frank just didn't even turn the clock on; just walked away. Like, just do it.
Well, do you remember this, Jan?
Always do that. Yeah, I wouldn't even go with the ending bit. If I was doing something like that, I would go like, "Give me 90 seconds, and the next joke after that, I'm done." It doesn't have the ending bit.
Frank's scared of you saw magicians sitting there cutting their act.
Because he had the bit where he saws a woman in half, and he says, it takes a while to set up, and it tends to go long. And I said, "Here's the deal: if you're on stage and you cut her in half and you go over your time, the audience will never know if you ever put her back together."
Yeah, you're running over. Just do one leg.
He was terrified.
That was great. That was a funny night.
The thing about it is I've tried to treat it as I've tried to be professional, and not every comic is that.
No. They want stage time,
I know, and some of them are deeply flawed, and that's why they're on stage anyway. So we know that we're the normal ones, right? But I try to always approach it, especially when I started doing corporate work. I would rather be I would rather be squeaky clean and not quite as funny rather than, doing something that's even remotely questionable, which you've got to be careful. And especially now when you're so concerned about offending people, and it's just, I was at the forefront of that, Frank. That joke I sent you about the, see, I'm from Alabama, so you have to do trailer jokes because it's the law. I was doing a corporate gig. This is probably 10 years ago, 12 years ago, for the University of Alabama. I mean, my alma mater, all of the administrative assistants. It was administrative assistant day, 600, 700, 800 people. And so I go in and I'm doing what I do, and I do this trailer joke. And I did about 3 trailer jokes, pretty harmless, you know?
Yeah.
And within about 7 or 8 minutes of doing the joke, the girl that booked me was way back there going, you know, rap. And I thought, well, they just want to get them back. They don't have any administrative assistants, and they need, and so I thanked them and got off. And the girl who booked me said, this lady, this department head of the English department wants to talk to you. And she reamed my butt. We have people that live in trailers. And here you are, they wanted to enjoy themselves, and now they feel so bad. And I literally went, where's the camera? Surely, you know, this is a joke, correct? These jokes are like tried and true. Never do they not work. And I'm hearing this, and so we got into, it wasn't heated, it was intense. And I said, you don't have any idea what comedy is. You have no idea. You have no idea, and you don't have a sense of humor, and they don't either. And I said, I'm not going to apologize for this.
Oh,
and so, no, it was respectful, but it was, I said, have you ever read, you know, I said, there are books. The Ohio University used to teach a course on writing comedy. And I said, you understand writing, ma'am, right? I said, well, one of the keys of comedy is you have to make fun of someone. That's the rule. Every joke makes fun of someone, and you just need to get over it. So I'll never forget, they handed me my check, and I knew, because I knew where the campus, the nearest bank that I banked at, I cashed that check so fast. I mean, I didn't normally cash it, but I cashed that one and called Bruce Ayers, who was booking me, and go, Bruce, you are not going to believe what happened here. I said, I am not believing what I just experienced. And obviously it got worse.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, actually, I did the California Manufactured Housing Association. And I said, you guys mind if I make fun of mobile homes? And they said, you can't make fun of mobile homes. And I said, I've owned 2, a 74 Galaxy Swinger with inch-deep shag green carpeting and a rake, and some other, a more up-to-date one. They go, well, if you've owned them and you've lived in them, you can make fun of.
Okay, I changed my bit because of that, you know, and rather than making fun of, you know, the follow-up joke was, anytime there's a storm, what do they say? If you live in a mobile home, get out, go outside, find a low-lying area. And my punchline was, do you realize what they're saying to these people? These people, the place you live ain't as safe as a ditch. And so I changed it. From then on, it went, when I first got married, I lived in a mobile home a couple of years, and the happiest day of my life was when I got out, because see, now
you're part of it. You can't make fun of a group that you're not a member of. You're a member of it, you can make fun of it. You know?
Goodness.
Yeah, I was somewhere in the Midwest during tornado season, and it's, you know, on the news, there's a couple of tornado chasers, and it's, you know, it's the best day of their lives because they're out there and they see them coming. And I said, you know, why do they spend the money on the hot vehicle and the gas and the time off of work chasing tornadoes? Just buy a mobile home and wait.
Just wait. And then the funny thing is, if you want to continue it, is you normally, in the right situation, you see mobile home, old refrigerator, tires, rims, $60,000 bass boat.
Yeah.
And I've done that joke because maybe they've got their priorities correct.
Well, you know, along the same lines, I did an event for contractors years ago, and it was a small group, and I went up and did, you know, maybe 45 minutes, and it was clean. I mean, my act is pretty clean.
Yeah,
all
mine
clean.
too.
And I'm up there doing this stuff, and it didn't hit well at all. And afterwards, the president of the group leans over and goes, Jan, these are contractors. They want dick jokes. And I I said, look, here's the deal. I said, there's wives and spouses here. I said, if I insult even one of them, I can't explain to the agent why I did that. But if I bombed with clean material, I can explain why I did that. And I said, the sad thing is I was following a speaker, the keynote speaker, who talked on how contractors have to change their image. And I said, obviously you didn't listen to that. And the next day, the president they sent me an apology for him. The staff, they said, that was inappropriate. And I said, you don't understand, hire someone that's going to do those jokes then. And, look at and if that's really what you want and you want to risk that, I said, but if one spouse gets all upset about it, what am I going to say to the agent? Well, 99 of them liked it, but one person didn't, no,
and
they hired me to be clean.
Right. As we well know in this day and time, a small rudder can turn a big ship.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and this wasn't even, this is like 10 years ago, but it was, I just said, look, I'm not the comic for you then, that's not what you want. You need.
I just get so frustrated with so many people getting upset about so little. It just bugs me.
I think you have to be clear with the comedians, and and look at the comedian and make sure you know what you're getting. Because otherwise it ruins it. If you're too clean or you're too dirty for the group, you got to be. Yeah, I always have a conference call with the organizer and say, here's what the deal is. Here's what we're doing. And find out, because then you'll know if they're expecting something different.
Yeah, and I did a corporate gig in San Diego and had a call with me, and we talked about how the show has to be clean. Fine. And so the speaker in front of me, I'm closing out the comedy. The speaker in front of me is a woman, and she's talking about Little Lion King. And the premise of the Lion King is, she says, that if the little lion does whatever quest, and he achieves the quest, reaches his goal, the female lion's going to give him some nookie. And and she used the word nookie half dozen times. So there's no way I can say that word on stage. But Steve Kelly, comedian friend of mine, has taught me,
Steve. Yeah,
there's a way to say things without saying it. So I go up on stage and I go, guys, I saw the movie, The Lion King. I actually saw the Broadway play, The Lion King. I would have sworn to God that when the little lion achieved his whatever, he was going to get a cookie. Because,
they were waiting on it.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Say it without saying it. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And then it's going to be, good. And so, and sometimes they just don't get it. I was doing a big fundraiser for UAB here, and it was at this hoity-toity place, and I'll never forget, the guy meant well, but it was for the Diabetes Trust Foundation, I think, or something. And the guy who founded it, they had found out like 2 days before that he had liver cancer.
Oh.
Fairly advanced. And so obviously he's not there. He's the founder. So this guy, I'm up there at the dais and they're talking. And this guy goes and, he starts talking and a lot of people didn't know in the crowd. He goes, that Dr. Bo has got advanced liver cancer and the prognosis is not good. And we understand that his family and everyone are in our thoughts and prayers as we go forward and as he fights this fight. And now we have a comedian.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
Yeah.
And I double killed. Explain that to me. I don't get it. I think they were just looking for a reason
to laugh. Yeah.
But the guy didn't mean to do it, but I thought, why don't you just cut my jugular vein right here and just let me bleed out faster than I'm going to in 45 minutes. So yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have
all sorts of weird crap goes on ahead of you. Comedy clubs have it right. They understand the stage setting, make sure what's going on in front of you, the show is, balanced. Of course, I have been on a show where there's 2 ventriloquists. But so Joe, we're coming, we're coming through, or kind of wrapping up. We'll try to keep everything to like 20 minutes. I don't know. What do you got? Who's your favorite comedian, and what advice would you give for comedians to who want to do this, people that want to do this?
Oh, I would say don't do it.
Yeah.
That's what they all say. And so if you're really, who do I like? Well, I mean, I've always liked Louis Anderson. I like Kathleen Madigan a lot, just a lot.
Yeah.
Just the bite, just the sarcasm. It's just like she's a member of my family growing up, you know. And I like Louis Anderson, I like Kathleen Madigan, Gaffigan. I love Gaffigan. Those are probably three. And then I like Lewis Black a lot too.
Yeah.
It's just the anger and the sarcasm. It's just I just like that. So
Kathleen was always very, very nice to me. And I worked with her at the first time at the Comedy Castle in Detroit. And when I saw I was on the bill with her, I thought, I was featuring, I thought, they're going to cancel me. I know they are. It's 2 women on a show. They never do it. And come that week, we did the show and great. And I asked Mark, the owner, I said, I sure thought you were going to cancel me when you realized you put 2 women on the show. And he said, I did it on purpose. He said, you both don't do women-y acts. You're funny. And I'm not going to build this as a women's show. And it was a great show, great turnout. And she was delightful. And we became friends. So good soul.
I've been better, but I want to. And I didn't want to just gush how I just think she writes it. I think she delivers it. And I really like her stuff. I mean, and Gaff, wow.
And the first time she and I worked together, San Antonio Funny Bone, it was a 2-bedroom condo, 3 comics. She was the MC, I was the feature. She had to sleep on the couch in the living room.
I know she smokes a lot. I think she still. So I wish she'd stop that. But
oh yeah,
I said that thing. I want her around as long as I can have her.
Good deal.
I really like her act. I really do. So yeah.
Joe, it's been a pleasure. It's good to see you again.
Always, my friend.
Check out Joe Hobby's blog. What is it again?
My Life as a Hobby at blogspot.com. It's kind of a mismatch. You know, I've talked about getting old. I've talked about grandchildren's story. I've talked about stories growing up. I'm about to write another one now about when I was in high school and this girl spurned me and I took some revenge on her and she really never knew who did it. So I'm finally going to admit it.
Check out for the big reveal.
Yeah.
Great.
Well,
thanks, Joe. This is nice meeting you. Really nice meeting you.
Yeah. Don't be a stranger. I appreciate you guys having me. I do.
Absolutely.
It always goes fast when I'm talking to Kingo. It always goes fast.
For sure.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. All right. Are we
guys.
good?
Well, if you enjoyed the podcast, please rate, review, subscribe, tell your friends. If you didn't enjoy the podcast, as comedians say, we hope you've got new friends.
Yeah, right.
Frank King and Jan McInnes. Goodbye. Exactly. Joe Hobby.
Thanks again. I appreciate it, guys. Okay.
Bye.
Later. Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right, Jan.